Now, what is the best city in Australia? Today, I'm going to be rating my favourite Australian cities from worst to best out of all the cities that I have been to in Australia. And before we get into it, just a disclaimer, this is the cities that I have been to in Australia. I haven't actually been to Melbourne and I haven't actually been to Canberra. So before all you Aussies have a meltdown in the comments, yes, I haven't been to Melbourne. Honestly, every comment's like, oh, how can you not even go to Melbourne? I haven't been to Melbourne. I haven't really got a reason to go, to be honest. Maybe you guys in the comments can persuade me. But yeah, this video isn't about Melbourne. This video is about the Australian cities that I have been to since being here. Before we get into today's video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, let's get into it. In 7th place, my least favourite city that I went to in Australia was actually the Gold Coast. Now, I'd seen the pictures of the Gold Coast before I went and it looked like paradise. Honestly, the skyscrapers lining the beachfront is one of the pictures that you see that makes you want to go to Australia. And whilst it is very scenic and very cool, the fact that there's skyscrapers along the beachfront, actually going to the Gold Coast, I was actually quite disappointed. First of all, the main touristy area which I was staying in, which is Surfers Paradise, it's pretty run down, it's pretty rough. It's not really that nice. It felt just like, you know, one of them dirty nightlife places you get in Europe. It felt a bit like that. It felt like just a bit run down and dirty. Also, the Gold Coast, it didn't really have like a town kind of centre. I was expecting it to have like its own kind of town centre, but it didn't. You got the beach, you got the skyscrapers, and then right next to it, it's just houses. So for me, there wasn't a lot to do. I know there's theme parks and stuff, but the overall vibe, there wasn't loads to do, and I did think it was pretty run down and dirty, to be honest. And I would say it's my least favourite city in Australia. Definitely one place that I haven't wanted to go back to. In 6th place is Sydney. Now, a lot of people might think this is fairly low, but to be honest, I think it is about right. Not because I didn't like Sydney. I think I'm putting it 6th because I do think it is quite overrated. Look, Sydney is a beautiful city. It's a good vibe, and you know, it is a very nice city, of course. But when I moved to Australia, it was all that I pictured. It was Sydney or nothing, do you know what I mean? That's why I lived there for the first 5 months of my time in Australia. But after traveling most of the country, there is quite a lot of cities that I do prefer to Sydney. It didn't help, I would say, that I was there in the winter time. I did have a bit of nice weather there, but winter time was most of it, so that kind of made it difficult. But overall, I think aside from the beaches and the nice scenery, the actual city isn't really anything special. It doesn't really have much character, I wouldn't say. You take away the harbour bridge and the opera house and the beaches. A boring city for its size, because it is massive, but it is nice, and I did enjoy my time there for sure. Just, I do think there is better Australian cities. In 5th place, we've got Brisbane. Now, I've actually been to Brisbane on 3 separate occasions, and I feel like each time I've gone, it's got better. I went on my own the first time, with my mate the second time, and most recently with my girlfriend. I spent around 5 days in Brisbane, and that was by far my favourite time in the city. There's loads to do. It just felt like a good vibe. I don't know if it was after being in New Zealand where there wasn't much going on, but moving straight to Brisbane, there was just so much going on. The city felt good, the vibe felt good, and also being in Queensland, it is warmer for more of the year, so the weather's good. I just think Brisbane has a really good vibe, and if I had to live in Brisbane or Sydney, it's close, but I think at the moment I prefer Brisbane. In 4th place, we have Cairns. Now, if you'd watched my videos from 6 months ago or whatever, Cairns most likely would have been near the bottom of this list, because the first time we came here, we weren't a massive fan. But one thing led to another traveling Australia this second time round, and after doing some of the East Coast, we actually ended up moving back to Cairns for work. We didn't find the work we were looking for further down the coast, so we've moved back to Cairns, and I'm not gonna lie, we definitely like it a lot more this time. I wouldn't say it's my favourite place we've lived, but it's a massive improvement from the first time we came here, where we had a bit of a negative view of the place. We came in the summer, which is very hot and humid, and also we struggled to find jobs and stuff, so we just left, to be honest. Moving back here, we're here in the dry season. The weather has been amazing for pretty much the whole time, apart from the last couple of weeks, and just we do live in like a pretty nice area, which definitely helps. And I just think Cairns is a good vibe. You've got the rainforest close by, there's a few beaches which are close by as well, but just the nature, I think, being so on your doorstep in Cairns, is really, really cool. And generally in Australia, I do prefer smaller towns and cities to the biggest ones. But yeah, Cairns, definitely a massive improvement from when we first moved here. Now, in third place, we have Darwin. Now, I would say Darwin is honestly one of the most unique places in Australia, definitely one of the most unique places that I've been. And honestly, I love Darwin. I only haven't got it higher on this list because we were only there for a week. So yeah, it's kind of hard to give it any higher when the other places we've lived and spent a lot longer. In Darwin, we only had a week, but I love that week in Darwin. Honestly, it's such a good vibe. Again, like Cairns, you've got so much nature on your doorstep. We did Litchfield National Park, saw the crocodiles there as well. It's just such a cool vibe. The actual town is very nice as well. It's got a nice waterfront area with restaurants and like a water park kind of thing. And I feel like Darwin is just like nowhere else in Australia, honestly. After being in the main cities, going somewhere like Darwin is so cool. And I think a lot of people miss it off because it's quite far from everything, but honestly, if you're looking at going to Darwin, I would 100% recommend it because it's a very unique experience and to this day, one of my favourite places I've been in Australia. Now, the top two. So my second favourite city in Australia is Adelaide. Now, I would say Adelaide is the most underrated city in Australia, purely because no one really visits there. I've spoken to a lot of backpackers, met lots of people traveling Australia, and hardly anyone goes to Adelaide. Now, it would have been easier for me to put Adelaide lower on this list because if you guys have watched my channel, you might know that we had a bit of a negative experience in the city the second time. We struggled to find jobs, we got kicked out of our house, had to live in a pretty shit area the second time. It was one bad thing after another in Adelaide. And I'm not gonna lie, leaving Adelaide felt good. Like, we were very ready to leave because of the negative experience we'd had. But that was actually the second time we went there. The first time we went there, we loved it. And that was the actual reason why we moved back. And when we did move back, that first month or so was very good. And I think it's easy to look back on a place negatively because you had a bad experience, but looking back on Adelaide, we did really like it. It's got unbelievable beaches. It's a city, so there's enough to do, but it's a very chilled out city. It's nothing like Sydney where it's very big and crazy. Very chilled out. The scenery is amazing. You've got so much nature on your doorstep, and honestly, some of the best beaches I've seen as well. So anyone that's looking at going to Adelaide, don't miss it off your list because it's very underrated. And number one, the best city in my opinion in Australia, if you guys have been following me for a while, you're definitely gonna know this, and that is Perth. Perth for me is, I feel like, is my favourite city in Australia that we've lived in, and is the exact reason we're gonna be going back there very soon. In fact, soon we're gonna be leaving Cairns and flying over to Western Australia. And I'm very excited because I spent 9 months living in Perth. It's actually the longest I've spent anywhere living in Australia, and I loved Perth. I always say that it's very easy to like a place when you're just traveling there and having fun, but to work in a place for 9 months and still like it just as much as other places that you've traveled to is a very good sign. Like, we spent the whole time pretty much working in Perth, but the days off there, the trips we did, like, it was so good. And anyone that misses off Perth during their time in Australia, it's a big mistake because honestly, it's got the best beaches in Australia. Kings Park's amazing. The scenery around the city is amazing, and the weather is definitely the best in Australia. I think it rained once in about 4 or 5 months, which is mad. So yeah, they are from 7 to 1 is my list of cities in Australia that I've been to. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. Don't have a meltdown that I haven't been to Melbourne. This video was not ranking every single Australian city. This was ranking the ones that I've been to. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. If you agree or disagree, let me know your favourite Australian city and tell me why, and I'll get back to them comments as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.